1. So I work at a well-known restaurant for selling rocking chair and barrels out of crackers. Now, I've only worked there for about 4 months, and I could go on and on about the whack people that go there, but today made me kinda lose it a little. Now, this story is nowhere near as bad as some of the other stories that happened to co-workers that I witnessed, but nonetheless, we all share good laughs at some of these customers. Now, these two ladies come in and are seated. I walk up, and before I can even introduce myself, CL1, Crazy Lady 1, goes, "Hi! I want— no, wait, you don't have that. No, wait, yes, you do. I know you do. I want a half and half." And I am already done because I was supposed to have left half an hour ago, so I assume she meant tea and ask her, and she says yes. CL2 says she just wants unsweetened tea, so no problem. Then, before I can ask if they're ready to order, CL1 goes, "I want green beans and the grilled chicken tenders, but are they overcooked? Well, I guess not, because it's for kids." Side note, at this restaurant the menu has a kids portion, lunch portion, and dinner portion for some items, such as chicken tenders, and come with 3, 4, and 6 pieces respectively. Also 1, 2, and 3 sides respectively. Now, with the lunch and dinner portions, they come with your choice of biscuits or cornbread, but kids' portions don't. Now, it's not a big deal to give people extra rolls, but management doesn't really like when we do, because it wastes money, and at our restaurant we run out frequently. Anyway, I look at this lady and just smile and say no. They aren't burnt, but they make them in large batches for all the incoming orders, so they're all pretty much similar. She goes, "Well, make sure they're not too brown," and I just leave it at that and move to CL2. Note, she wasn't crazy, just for ease of storytelling I'll call her CL. She asked for the same with, I think, a side of mashed potatoes, but that's not important. Now CL1 cuts her off and says, "Oh yeah, I want biscuits." CL2 says, "They come with biscuits?" "Yeah, it's bottomless, I would know." Now I don't correct her, but for extra biscuits it's like a $5 charge, so okay, whatever. I'm not gonna get her more, but I'll get her the ones for her meal as a courtesy. I put in their order and had gotten triple sat. Servers unite, we love a rush hour. And someone else ran out their food. I don't know if that's common, but here we just run out any tray in the window, yours or not. Now my friend, we'll call her Shalisa, comes up to me and says, "Your table said this tiny part of the tenders were too done and wants them all remade." Deadass word for word, and I wish I had a picture to prove it. But why? So I go to the cook and say, "I'm sorry, but this crazy customer wants all of her tenders to look like this, but that this part was too done and wants new ones." He says okay and takes a plate. Now I turn away and do other stuff, and then run out the new plate. She says it looks great and eats all of it. I go back to the kitchen and the cook guy calls me and asks me if she liked it, and I said yes, I just brought it out and left. He said he hoped so because all he did was flip the same tenders over. She ate them all. Why are people like this? Why? It also bothers me that she sat there chatting for another hour and a half after I gave them the check. 2. I picked up a shift at the pizza place I work at as a favor to another server. Unfortunately, the evening was particularly slow, so I was already making hardly any money. This couple comes in, probably late 50s, early 60s. I seek them promptly and greet them with my usual pleasant spiel, putting on my best schmoozy face. Right off the bat, I had a feeling these guys would be difficult when I asked for the drink orders, after mentioning we have Pepsi products on Fountain. Here's our cast lineup. Me, Ga, grouchy asshole husband, AW, asshole wife. Can I get you two started with anything to drink?
Do you have Diet Mountain Dew?
We do have them in our cooler, but not on our fountain tap. I'd be happy to grab you one.
I guess I'll take a water.
How about iced tea?
Well, we have that as well. It's the Pure Leaf brand in a bottle. I'll grab you one with a glass of ice.
You mean it's not fresh? I'll just take a water, I guess.
He rolls his eyes at me. No problem, I'll be right back with those. So I check in my other table, come back with waters, and they're ready to order. Awesome. They order our special supreme pizza, and I happily give it to the pizza cook. No problem. Now I will say it's important to point out that this is a very small establishment, and we have been training a few new cooks. This evening there were mostly to-go orders, so he was a little frazzled, but doing okay for the most part. When their pizza comes out, some of the toppings had slid to the other side of the pizza, because of the way he was learning how to put them in the oven on the rotating rack. This happens occasionally, and it's usually pretty easy to move most of them back, fresh out of the oven. He adjusts it, the pizza still looks pretty gorgeous, but has about 10% more toppings on one side than the other. Hardly a massive issue. I drop the pizza off and ask them if there's anything else they need. They just stare at me blankly, so I say, "Enjoy your meal," and off I go to answer the phone and check tables, etc. I stop back about 5 minutes later and notice they've not even touched the pizza, so I ask how they're doing.
Is this normal for all of the toppings to be on one side?
"I'm sorry, sir, we are training a new cook, and I realize that some of the toppings have shifted a little bit when he slid the pizza off the paddle. I'm happy to have him make you a new pie, which would take about 10 minutes. And you guys can keep this one."
Forget it.
"So you are fine with this pizza, then?" "It's really no problem to have him make a new one. Plus, you'd have extra to take home. I'll of course give you a discount, regardless of whether you'd like a new one."
This is just ridiculous.
"I'm so sorry you're displeased, sir. Please let me know if there's anything else I can do to fix the situation. In the meantime, I'll bring you some extra water." So off I went, and they ate about 3/4 of the pizza. And asked to take the rest home, I wrapped up their slices, gave them a 40% discount on the bill, and dropped it off with yet another apology.
You know what? This has just been awful. This is our second time here and it was terrible again. The first time we came was 6 months ago and the pizza was undercooked. We thought we'd give you another chance, but clearly you haven't fixed your issues. This will be the last time we ever come here, and we will make sure to tell our friends to avoid it as well."
"I'm sorry you feel that way, sir. I did give you a discount, and the offer still stands if you'd like a free take-home pie. I hope your server last time was able to promptly remedy the situation for you on your last visit."
We just ate it and didn't complain last time.
"I'm sorry it was an issue. It shouldn't have been. Please make sure to let us know if you ever have a problem, as we are always willing to fix any issue you may have."
It doesn't matter because we won't be back.
They signed the tab and left. I gave them my sweetest goodbye, even though I knew the action was futile. I picked up the tab right after they left, and of course it was a big fat 0 on the tip line. Long story short, if you're going to go eat out and the server goes above and beyond to fix a small mistake, don't punish her. I spent $40 on a fucking babysitter that night, and only make $20 in tips. People like this need to stay home. 3. So, been a server and bartender for a decade or so. Had my fair share of stupid customers with stupid questions and everything in between. But here's a form of question and complaint I get every now and then, and I just don't get the logic of it. I work at a decent high-end steak and rib place. Good world inspiration menu, plenty of selection. Get a table of 4, they get drinks, go through the greeting and such. Customer scans the appetizer menu and then asks, "You guys got mushroom caps?" Well, there's no mushroom caps on the menu, and there is only one menu, but whatever, just asking in case, right? "No, sorry, we don't have mushroom caps." At this point, I would suggest another appetizer or ask if they're looking for a big app, something spicy, cheesy, or whatever. But I get this counter from the customer. "Other restaurants have mushroom caps." So where do you go from here? I mean, yes, the customer is right in his broad and vast observation. Believe it or not, different restaurants have different menus. Weird, huh? I mean, if every restaurant had everything every other restaurant had, they'd all be the size of Costco, and menus would be the size of a phone book. And so by telling me this, am I supposed to go to the kitchen and tell them to create a dish that doesn't exist here? Don't get me wrong, if it's something simple like making a rose sauce or something, then we can see what we can do. And I've gotten this many times. "You got nachos?" "No, sorry, just appetizers on the menu." "Well, Bill's Pub has nachos." "And?" "Sounds like you want nachos, and you know where to get them, and came here. Try one of the 20 great appetizers maybe, or check the menu online before coming in. I mean, I'd like to ask the customer, no, we don't have nachos like Bill's Pub. I wonder, do they serve our signature beef Wellington? Probably not. It's like we have different menus or something. Weird, huh? Or I get, You should tell your owner or manager to get popcorn chicken, or whatever. We're a huge corporate chain. It's like the same menu at 200 locations. I mean, Walmart probably doesn't sell regulation pool tables. I wouldn't bitch to the manager or suggest they start selling them. They'd look at me like I was nuts, probably thinking to go to a place that sells pool tables. When I get the, "Tell your boss to suck Jim's Red Hot Bourbon Sauce," I usually give them the corporate, "Well, they wouldn't listen to little old me, but they'd love hearing from our guests. If you do the online survey, you can make said suggestion goes right to head office. Or I can get my manager, and you can make that great suggestion to them." They usually do neither. So in closing, anyone who doesn't know this, different restaurants have a plethora of different items. Sure, asking may result in something, I guess, but saying, "Well, Jack's Steakhouse has lamb chops," won't actually make a lamb just appear in the kitchen ready to chop on up. And I know it's unbelievable, but me, your waiter and bartender, has no say in our steak and rib house chain getting lobster bisque on the menu. I guess I could mention it to the COO next time I'm golfing with them at their country club, but you might want to try checking a menu online before, or calling before, or asking before you get sat, or going to the place that has what you want, or trying something new and asking me good questions. Let me do my job. Your dining experience will be so much better if we can talk and discuss the items we do have. I mean, I could talk about the items we don't have, I guess, but you're here for food, and I'm here to serve you food, so that may be counterproductive. Sorry for the rant. I'm off to the Ford dealership to see if they have any Volkswagen Beetles, and if they don't, I'll tell the secretary they should, and maybe see if I can talk to a mechanic to get him to whip one together for me. 4. I had my first spill at a table over a patron tonight, and honestly, it probably couldn't have gone better. I'm a server at an Italian restaurant in a small town, and in addition to the main dining room downstairs, we have an upstairs lounge with a full-service bar. Patrons can order pretty much anything on the menu and have it sent upstairs, so people very frequently come upstairs to eat dinner, not always just drink. I'm on my shift, everything is going well. I am the only server upstairs, but the bartender and I are handling the mostly slow dinner crowd. This five-top walks in and sits down. I bring them menus and silverware. It's immediately clear that they're kinda awkward. I think it was a business group and most of the people were from out of town, but the vibe was weird. One of those tables where I asked them what they wanted to drink, and they all stared at each other for a good long while, making awkward eye contact with each other. Finally, someone orders a Leinenkugels, and the rest slowly pick out their drinks. A few glasses of wine and 2 margaritas. I bring back the drinks as soon as they're made. I only have 3 other tables at this point, and I start setting out the drinks. I give them the Leinenkugels, the 2 glasses of wine, and I set down one of the margaritas. As I go for the second margarita, I bump my serving tray just enough to tip over the glass and spill the contents over the shoulder of one of the women at the table, and all down my front leg. Immediately, I just feel so panicky and I start apologizing profusely and telling her I'll grab some towels to dry her off. But she isn't responding. She just looks frozen, mouth agape. I rush off for towels. Everyone in the bar is now staring at me and the table. When I come back, the startled look is still on the woman's face and she just softly says, I think I just need to go to the bathroom." On her way over, the bartender hooks her up with one of the shirts we sell with our logo on it, makes her another drink. I comp the drink and move the group to another table, but I'm so worried that I've kinda turned the table against me. When the woman comes back from the bathroom, she seems better, but still kinda disoriented. I tell her that the drink is on us, to which she replies, "And also on me." Glad she was able to be humorous, but damn, I didn't know what to say in the moment. Anyway, I get food orders, bring out food, everything is going well. Vibes at the table are awkward pretty much every time I come around. And a few more times I drop something at the table. I bring some pizza plates, and I drop one of them off the stack and it clatters quite loudly on the table. And then, just to top it off, as I'm taking away the margarita woman's plate, I spill the leftovers of her food right behind her on the floor. She freezes again, and when she realizes nothing was spilled on her, she nervously laughs it off. My cheeks were probably beet red, and I mumbled something about this not being my night for not dropping things. Thankfully, I don't have to split the check, one guy takes it. I thank the group for coming, and we tell Margarita woman she can keep the shirt. They leave. I check the bill, and the guy tipped me around 40%. Maybe he felt bad for me, or maybe he didn't like the woman I spilled the margarita on, but either way, he was a total champ and made my night. Some patrons just have that really sweet kindness, and those are the patrons that make me love serving all that much more. 5. I work for an agency in the UK who specializes in hospitality and events. Last night I was asked to go to a 5-star hotel for an event, and it was an utter nightmare. This story isn't about bad customers, this story is about bad management. I got to the hotel about an hour early as I wanted to make sure A, I was there, and B, what I was about to do for the shift. This is my second posting with my agency, and the first time I'd ever been to the hotel, so I was a little nervous. The man who greeted me at the reception was quite rude and seemed annoyed that I had dared to arrive for work early. I was then asked if I was English, no idea why he thought he had to ask, but he did, and I said I was. He then rolled his eyes and directed me to the staff canteen where I can wait for the shift to start. As other people from my agency started to arrive, I did notice that out of all of them, I was the only English person there. But I didn't think much of it. I then met the manager who was looking after the event, who also asked me if I was English. Again, I didn't think much of it, and told him that I was. He then told me that he wanted me to go to a different event in the hotel than the one I've been booked on. Slightly unusual, but I was being paid, so I didn't really care. I was then taken to meet a second manager who was looking after events for 25 people in a different part of the hotel. The third manager also asked me if I was English. I didn't think much of it, but I was starting to get a little bit suspect. And again, I confirmed that I was. Manager 2 and Manager 3 began to politely argue about how long I was going to stay at the event, as Manager 2 wanted me to go back to work in the banquet that I had been booked for. Eventually, they seemed to work out that I will stay in the new event. As Manager 2 left, Manager 3 then complained to me that I was late, as he wanted me to start at 4 o'clock when the agency told me I was to start at 5 o'clock. I was then directed to the bar, where I was asked to wait for about an hour and a half. I tried to talk to the bartender and ask if there was anything I could do, but I was ignored. I kept thinking, at least I'm getting paid. As the event started, I was asked to walk around holding glasses of red and white wine to offer our guests, by 3 different managers telling me 3 different ways to do it. And I was then asked by a manager if the glasses were too heavy for me to hold. I know I said this was my second place with the agency, but I have worked hospitality and events for big corporations, such as the BBC, before, so I know exactly what I'm doing. Once everybody at the event had a wine glass, I was then asked to take 1 bottle of red and 1 bottle of white wine, both in one hand, and top up glasses. Again, this is something I've done before and had no problems doing. As I lifted the wine bottles, the manager then asked me if it was too complicated or too hard for me to carry the wine bottles. I then enjoyed about an hour of the manager stalking me 2 steps behind, speaking to the customers over my shoulders for me, and generally treating me like an idiot. I ended up becoming slightly flustered because of the treatment I was receiving from the manager. And as I served customers from the other side of the bar who weren't of the party, I ended up tripping and for the first time in my life spilling a tray of drinks all over myself. I went to the bathroom, cleaned myself up, and came back up to the manager, and told him I don't think this is working, and that it's best for me to go home, especially as I was drenched in wine and it wouldn't look good to the company. As I left, I called up the agency and explained what happened at the event. I don't know what's going to happen yet, as I need to be called back today, but I have never been so mistreated while hosting an event in my life. Don't get me wrong, I have worked for complete and utter arseholes, but I am fucking good at my job, and this has absolutely thrown me. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Spinning Plates number 53. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Right, we're Saturday. Not sure if I'm streaming this weekend. I'm going to kind of play it by ear, see if the urge takes me. We'll see how the weather is, basically. It'll be weather dependent. If it's super hot, I'm probably not going to be willing to turn the fan off. So we shall see. Unless I can do a stream. I'll see how that. Well, I suppose I could see how it sounds with the fan on. The mod mic might not pick it up as much as the condenser mic does. We'll see. Anyway, I was thinking, story number 4 there, there's a podcast I listen to, right? And the guy in that does various impressions, and sometimes does little songs as well. And they ended up, he did this thing, and one of the fans put it together as like a little proper song with music and everything, where he did an Al Pacino impression. It's called Hollywood Babylon, is the name of the podcast, where it basically goes, ooh-ah, ooh-ah, more margaritas, ooh-ah, ooh-ah. And I've got that stuck in my head now, because of all the margarita talk. Anyway, just throwing that out there, random thought popped into my head. Okay, and with that I'm going to head off for now, so until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.